Jeff Purvis starting on the pole, Dick Trickle starting on the outside, but no, this is not a Winston Cup race. This is ARCA. Trickle says it's the most competitive field ever. 20 cars possibly could win the race. Purvis, a brand new car, a Runt Pittman engine, and Purvis is on the pole in 192.5 miles an hour. Remember the showing that Purvis made last year at this race. Started up front, but he had problems early, fell 4 laps down. By the end of the race, Purvis had made up all 4 laps. If he would have gotten another caution, he probably would have won the race. Over here in the Rulo Brothers car, Dick Trickle, very strong. Second place finish in this car at Atlanta last fall. Now let's go down the grid to Kyle Petty.
Well, I'm here with Jeff McClure, and Jeff, each week you're going to run a different school with a different mascot and their different logos, different college teams. This week you've got the UNLV Running Rebels. What's it going to be like out there running for the Running Rebels, and who's it going to be next show?
First off, I'm tickled to death to have this deal with all the universities, UNLV, Florida State. Everybody's just been great to us. Looking forward to a good run today, and next weekend at Pensacola will be the Florida Gators.
Well, he'll be the Florida Gators next week, and he's going to be like a Gator here today and eat them up going to the front. Down to you, John.
Kyle, I was talking about how Dick Trickle said the competition in today's race very stiff. Look here, starting third, Loy Allen Jr. He starts tomorrow's Winston Cup race on the outside of the front row. Loy should be a front runner today. And over here, the last time we saw this car on ESPN, Mike Wallace took it to victory lane at Daytona. But a different driver today. Jimmy Horton will start from the number 4 spot. They've massaged on this car. They say that it is a true super speedway car now with a little bit motor, so it should be a better car today, Kyle.
Well, I'm sitting here with Jerry Glanville. First time Jerry got in a race car, as far as I know, he came to Atlanta and tested one of our Mellow Yellow cars. Now he's starting here in an ARCA race. Jerry, you've tried to run some Busch races. You run an ARCA race. How are you running today, man?
Well, we think we're going to be real good, and I wanted to tell the people out there watching, this is all your fault. If it wasn't for you and Mellow Yellow, I'd be home watching on TV.
Well, that's Jerry Glanville. I remember watching a film of him one day, and he said the NFL stood for not for long, and I got a feeling that not for long he's going to be in this position. He's headed to the front.
Motorsports coverage is pleased to welcome you live to the world's fastest stock car facility in Talladega, Alabama. Yes, it's Talladega Superspeedway, playing host today to the Automobile Racing Club of America's Food World 500. Current point standings, top 5, Mike Wallace, Tim Fedua, Tim Steele, Jeff McClure, and Bob Hill. Hello, everyone. I'm Jerry Punch, and it is a humid but overcast day here in central Alabama. Temperature about 80 degrees, winds out of the northwest, but we have got some great super speedway racing. This is just the second race of the year. Yes, it's the second time these ARCA drivers have been on a speedway. In fact, it has been 2 months since they've raced. Their only race of the year, you saw it right here on ESPN back on February 13th in Daytona, and what a show that was. You've heard from the young drivers up front. You saw John Kernan talking about Jeff Purvis. 11 times in the past 32 races here, the pole sitter, someone from the front row, has gone to victory lane. They've got to be smiling. But what about the other drivers who haven't raced for a couple of months? How much do you lose not being in the race car? Do you get rusty? Well, who better to answer those questions than our own veterans from ESPN? Here's Benny Parsons and Ned Jarrett.
Hey, I tried it the other day at Charlotte Motor Speedway. I was not rusty at all. I was only about 25 miles an hour off the pace. But I think this ARCA race today, I got to agree with John Kernan. This will be the most competitive ARCA race we've seen here. Usually it's 25, 30 miles per hour between the fastest qualifier and the slowest qualifier. Ned, today just 9 miles per hour.
Yeah, these fields are getting more competitive every year. And Benny, there are 6 former champions of the ARCA series. You're not in there, of course, a former champion. That's in this race today. And I think the qualifying maybe was a little misleading here on Thursday. They had a thunderstorm right in the middle of the qualifying. Temperatures cooled dramatically, and it affected the speeds of a lot of drivers. So I think that we're going to see some of those that are back in the field come up through the front, and that always makes for some good racing, Jerry.
Indeed it does, Ned, as we get set for this field. 42 strong, getting set. When we come back, we'll take a look at the starting lineup and have the green flag for 500 kilometers of racing action. Today's Speed World coverage being brought to you by the Valvoline Performance Team and by Allied Signals Fram Filters. You can pay a little now or a lot later. Let's take a look at our starting lineup. The Suzuki starting grid as the field comes down out of the tri-oval area. Starting grid, Jeff Purvis will lead him down at 192.502 miles per hour. Beside him, veteran Dick Trickle in the car number 39, the Roulos brothers car. Back in row 2, Loy Allen, the pole sitter from Daytona, and beside him, a 7-time winner in ARCA competition, veteran Jimmy Horton driving for Kenny Schrader. Row 3 has Gary Bradbury making it just his 4th ever ARCA start, and beside him, another newcomer to ARCA racing, Joel White. Row 4 has Bob Hill and a 2-time series champion, Bill Venturini. Back in row 5, Mark Thompson. What an incredible flip he took in Daytona. We'll tell you about what happened with him since then. And beside him, Michael Dokken, the guy who he came into contact with in Daytona and had that fantastic accident. Row 6.
Row 6, we see Peter Gibbons qualifying over 188 miles an hour, and Mark Stahl, ARCA veteran in this series, and Frank Kimmel in row 7 along with Bob Strait. Row 8, we see Bobby Gearhart and Jeff McClure. Jeff McClure just talked to Kyle Petty there a little while ago. Look for him to make a move. And in row 9, we see Kenny Allen and Bobby Bowser. Bobby, a former champion of this series. And in row number 10, Kerry Teague and Bob Shack.
Back in row 11, we have Bob Revac, another former champion, and the coach, Jerry Glanville. Doesn't have anything to do, so he decided to go racing. Dave Jensen back in row 12 alongside last year's champions, Tim Steele. As we look at the rest of the cars, we'll see some more champions back in there, Jerry.
Indeed, Benny. We got 6 rookies starting today's field. 6 rookies, 5 former series champions. There's Laura Lane, a young lady who's trying to make a name for herself in ARCA racing. Dirt track racer from Texas, Tom Lawrence. We might mention, as you look at the field, a couple of drivers will be going to the back of the pack. The car number 19, Rob Smith, having to go to the back of the pack. He had an engine problem and elected to start back there. And Kerry Teague.
Kerry Teague lost his engine, had to borrow an engine, and missed the driver's meeting while he was busy putting in the engine. Has to start at the rear of the field. And there's provisional Roger Blackstock. His father used to help me when I ran ARCA back in the 60s. Wayne and Barbara Blackstock.
As we get set to go racing here at Talladega, glad to have you with us. 500 kilometers, that's 312 miles, 117 laps, and Jeff Purvis in a Chevrolet alongside Dick Trickle will lead this field down. 41 cars. We might mention Bobby Coyle qualified in the car number 8. He will not start. He blew his engine this morning, so only 41 cars will start this event. Takes the advantage out of turn 2. That's him in the yellow car number 39, and they are side by side. A couple of young drivers with experience. Jimmy Horton on the outside, and our pole sitter, Jeff Purvis, with Loy Allen and the Hooters Ford right on the rear of Purvis in turn 3.
And Loy Allen chooses to go with Jeff Purvis, gave him a little bit of a push going into turn 3 and moved Purvis up into 2nd place, and he's got a good run. He might even get by Trickle before they get back to the start-finish line, Jerry.
Qualified at 192. The drafting, they could go over 193, and first time by will be Trickle, the 52-year-old veteran from Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin.
Boy, those cars don't want to run side by side long. Those two in front will get away from them in a hurry.
They will go away quick. There we see Horton and Loy Allen side by side. That's Bill Venturini, a former ARCA champion, on the inside, the green and white car, number 25.
You can't afford to back off in a situation like that. You just hope to get a little burst of speed, whether you're on the inside or the outside, and move by the guy that you're running beside of, but that isn't happening. They're just still running side by side, and you can see the front two are pulling away.
Exactly as Ned had said, with side-by-side racing, that front draft becomes very, very effective as they scatter 3 wide in the tri-oval area. Back in the pack, a couple of cars trying to make a move, and Venturini makes the pass on Loy Allen to take the position away. Let's check into the pits with John Kernan.
Jerry, as Dick Trickle leads the field with Jeff Purvis hot on his tail. I was just talking to James Finch, the car owner for Jeff Purvis. He said in practice yesterday they determined that the two cars ran faster when Trickle was out front. So he's loving it. James Finch is that those cars behind are running 2 and 3 wide. He says they want to put as much distance on that second pack as they can.
Well, certainly the farther you are out in front of them, the less danger there is of getting in a wreck. But now they have singled out, John, and it looks like Jimmy Horton and Bill Venturini might be catching the two.
Front 2 cars, then there's 4 cars single filed, and then this pack, as they are still 2 wide. That's Bob Straight in the big black car with a target on the front back there. He is in the car number 37, a Jim Spicuzza on machine. 32. That's Mark Stahl. Now 6 cars in the lead draft. 2 cars, and then it was a 2-car breakaway, but the car number 52 with Jimmy Horton driving for Kenny Schrader has led that second foursome up to the lead draft.
Well, it looks like the 11 car of Kerry Teague has got more engine problems. We see him slow on the apron of the racetrack guy in turns 1 and 2. And Horton is going for that second spot alongside Purvis. That's Horton on the inside, the blue and white car. Jeff Purvis on the outside, white and red car.
I think it'll depend on who Venturini picks up. I think he's going to go with Horton down on the inside, and that'll make the difference in whether they get by or not.
Jimmy Horton driving the car that went to victory lane in Daytona. Mike Wallace was driving it in Daytona, and no, Purvis shows a lot of muscle. Jeff Purvis has a Runt Pittman engine in the car. Now, Runt Pittman builds the motors for the car number 4, the Morgan McClure Winston Cup team, which won, of course, the Daytona 500. So it's very, very strong, and he shows a little bit of muscle, but Horton will take the spot away, as it is Dick Trickle, our leader, Horton in second, Purvis third, Venturini fourth, and Roy Allen showing in the 5th position.
And that's Gary Bradbury in the red car running right behind in 6th spot. Well, and Roy Allen backs off going in turn 3. Looks like he might have a problem, Ned.
Car went a little high with him there, and he's lost a couple of car lengths. He should be able to pick that back up if he gets in line.
Spoke with Dennis Conner, the crew chief on Loy Allen this morning down on the ARCA garage. He said the concern they had was, even in the Winston Cup car, which will race here tomorrow, that these cars are set up almost alike, and in the draft, the car tend to have a little bit of a push. You have trouble turning the car, and you saw it go very high in turns 3 and 4 just a minute ago. 112 laps to go, 117 comprised of 312 miles, or 500 kilometers in this second stop on the $2 million ARCA Tour.
Petty reporting from the pits that Lloyd just got a little bit loose getting in the 3rd corner, had to get out of the throttle, and that's the reason we saw the gap of 5 or 6 car lengths. As Purvis is working high up in the corner.
You wonder if his car's pushing up a little bit or if he's just driving it up there. I don't know. Now he's trying to come to the inside. We'll see if it's pushing. We should be able to tell it when he goes into this turn down on the inside of Horton.
Jeff Purvis makes the move in turn 1 inside of Jimmy Horton. Now, once again, as Ned Sherritt pointed out, 2 cars side by side will normally let a car in front of them get away a little bit, but they're holding their own, coming off the 33-degree banks and down this 4,000-foot back straightaway.
I'll tell you what, more and more cars are joining this front group. They're the 3 abreast as Lloyd Allen goes by our pole sitter Jeff Purvis. Venturini goes down right in front of Purvis.
Jeff McClure is in there, the young man that Kyle Petty spoke with. Yeah, it is the UNLV car. Chevrolet for Jeff McClure, who started way back in 16th spot.
He's made a good run. Purvis got back up in that outside line. He decided that low groove was not going to work for him.
As they're trying to get in line, single file coming out of turn 2. We got 1 car showing a little bit of smoke. Bob Keselowski, and boy, they have struggled all weekend changing engines. They finally put their Joey Arrington qualifying engine back in, and apparently it will not finish today here at Talladega. We're in the early laps of the Food World 500 on the high banks of Talladega Superspeedway. Back in a moment. Welcome you back to Talladega, Alabama for our Speed World coverage of the Food World 500. We might remind you fans who tuned in to see Speed Week that Speed Week will directly follow our telecast of this exciting ARCA event. Bob Jenkins and all the crew there in Speed Week will be on hand after the conclusion of this 500-kilometer event to to bring you up to date on what's happened around the world in motorsports. Right now, hope you're enjoying some exciting high-banked and high-speed action here at Talladega.
Jeff Purvis, their pole sitter, has retaken the lead. And look here, Gary Bradbury in second spot. Then we see Jimmy Horton in third, and Dick Trickle, their leader, just a couple laps ago, all the way back to fourth spot.
And Benny, we talked a little bit ago about Jeff McClure making a move to the front. How about Tim Steele? He started in 24th position and is now already up to 10th. So he is on the move.
That's exactly what happened to Tim Steele. You see his...
Oh, we got a car hitting the wall right in front of Steele.
And he went low up in turns 3 and 4. One car had backed it in the wall and then slid down across the racetrack. And here are the leaders heading back to take the caution flag from Doyle Ford as he signals them and waves the caution for the first time today. As 106 laps in the books. We're just commenting that Tim Steele did exactly the same thing in Daytona, as here's a car slow on the apron.
That's Bob Strait. Is slow on the apron. It looks like he has finally got the car going again. He might have been involved in that accident up in turns 3 and 4.
Field now forming up behind the Pontiac safety car down the back straightaway. The incident took place in between turns 3 and 4, and the car slid up across the racetrack and down right in front of Tim Steele.
That might have been the 89 car of Jeff McClure. There's some smoke, which there we see straight spin. And is that the 89 car of McClure that spun and hit the wall?
I think it's one of those cars that was up in the lead pack. It's hard to...
Now, McClure was being shown in the 7th position after starting back in 16th spot. Young man from Denver, North Carolina. Here's another look at this picture right of your screen.
Looks like 89 to me.
45.
No, 45.
49.
49. Oh, that's Joel White.
Joel White out of Rose City, Texas.
And, you know, he's working in Stanley Smith's shop. And Stanley Smith, the fellow who was involved in the accident here last year in the Die Hard 500, is a spotter for him today. As we see him push the Keselowski car back to the garage area, which says, all done for the day.
Once again, first caution flag today coming out involving 2 cars, Joel White out of Texas and Bob Strait in the car number 37. Back in a moment. Back at Talladega, Alabama, the Food World 500 ARCA event in the early laps here. We're under caution for the first time today. 12 laps are being shown as having been completed. We mentioned it was a warm but slightly overcast day. Temperature 80 degrees, 74% humidity, 40% chance of rain, and winds were gusting out of the northwest at 20 to 25 miles per hour. Now, those are pretty ominous-looking clouds. We are told that the thunder showers should move in the next hour and a half to 2 hours, so we are going to make every effort, as are the folks here at ARCA, to be able to limit the caution flags to as short as possible and maybe get as many green flag laps on and get this race to conclusion here at Talladega. Jeff Purvis being shown as our leader. Great run for Gary Bradbury. And one driver who's a former series champion is not going to finish today. He's standing by with our Kyle Petty.
I'm here with Bob Keselowski, who just pulled into the garage area. Didn't qualify that well down here. This is only the second race into the season. What happened out there?
I don't know. Kyle, looks like the car never would get up to speed. I don't know what kind of problems we're having. It felt like it might have burned a piston. It got some smoke out the pipes, and now it won't even turn over. I know it had oil pressure and everything, and it wasn't running hot, so either dropped the valve or burned a piston. It never would run.
That's Bob Keselowski. He's going to be in contention all year long for the championship, just like he always is.
Indeed, he will be. And there's the car number 49, or at least what's left of the car number 49, Joel White, the action rent-to-own Chevrolet, as you heard many parts to say. That car being prepared in Stanley Smith's shop in Chelsea, Alabama. Under caution the first time today, Jeff Purvis, Gary Bradbury, Jimmy Horton, Dick Trickle is 4th, Roy Allen is 5th, 6 through 10. Bill Venturini, Jeff McClure, Mark Stahl, Tim Steele, and L.W. Miller III. 13 laps of 117 complete. Great crowd on hand. Glad to have you with us here at Talladega Superspeedway. A warm welcome today to the MCI Proof Positive blimp and its crew, giving us these beautiful aerial shots of Talladega Superspeedway. The blimp being piloted today by Captain Matt Elkins out of Dallas, Texas. There's a good look at the MCI proof positive blimp hovering over today. It was a little late taking off because, as you saw, those gusting winds at 20 to 25 miles an hour and thunderstorms in the area. We've had some intermittent thunder showers all afternoon, but look at this crowd on hand for a great afternoon. Super Saturday, they call it here in Talladega. They just completed one whale of an IROC race, International Race of Champions event, and what a great show that was. And now we're enjoying 500 kilometers, basically 317 miles, 312 miles, I should say, of ARCA competition.
Cars are getting ready to go back green flag racing, swerving the car, trying to clean the debris off the tires. And you see Bob Bree back, the blue and yellow car. It's our 5th place car. L.W. Miller. Anybody know anything about L.W. Miller?
Well, he's L.W. Miller the third, so there's got to be a first and a second.
There's a couple more of them around somewhere. We'll see Michael Dockin right behind him in 64. There's Tim Steele, the red car, number 16.
L.W. ran the dirt tracks up in New York and some of the short tracks around Pennsylvania, driving a Chevrolet Lumina. He ran the last 10 races last year, finished 5th up at Flat Rock in Michigan, also Killcare up in Xenia, Ohio, where Benny Parsons used to race in the early years.
I never raced at Killcare.
You didn't race at Killcare?
Flat Rock?
You did?
I ran the local races there and also the ARCA races at Flat Rock. Never went to Killcare.
Jerry talked about short track racing and the IROC race. How about Steve Kinzer winning the IROC race here today?
Was that an incredible finish? Steve Kinzer. And you don't find many better on the short tracks. I don't think you find any better on the short tracks than Stevie Kinzer. And he held off a challenge from some of the best to win that International Race of Champions. And the first pure short track competitor in the IROC series, boy, Jay Signori and that crew have done a wonderful job to put that series together. And Kinzer hangs on to get that win just moments ago.
And you see all those guys up against the outside retaining wall trying to come down for the green flag. That's to ensure that no one got on the outside of them. All trying to protect the outside.
Because the rules, you can only pass on the outside on the restart until you get to the start-finish line. Good point.
Very good point, Benny. Purvis, Bradbury, and Jimmy Horton on 3 cars.
As we look at Jimmy Horton, he's got a new name on the roof of his car. Do you see that, Ned?
Yeah.
Slash Gordon.
Had dinner with Jimmy last night, and he was telling me they put that handle on. That's his motorcycle handle, I believe.
Yeah, they said a motorcycle rider with all the leathers and everything couldn't just be a Jimmy.
Yeah.
So they've named him Slash.
Well, he had a nickname here last year. It was called Air Horton. Remember Air Horton? He got Air Horton, got out of his place. And they named him Air Horton for a while, but now it's Slash, as he currently runs in 3rd spot. Let's check in with John Kernan.
Well, Jerry, as Paul Harvey would say, and now the rest of the story concerning Slash Horton. A couple of weeks ago, he's been working over at Kenny Schrader's shop. Showed up there, as you said, with his motorcycle leathers on and everything, and Kenny said, you know, Jimmy, you look like you belong in the rock band Guns N' Roses. The lead singer in that band, of course, Slash. Kenny said, I'm going to call you Slash from now on.
Well, Jimmy's grandmother over in Chattanooga, Tennessee is watching this afternoon. And Jimmy said she went to one race back when he was about 21 years old and said he had a bad wreck right in front of her, scared her to death. She never did go back to another race, but she watches us all the time on TV.
Well, she's going to be awfully proud of her grandson right now. He's holding on to 3rd spot. Now, he's won here twice at Talladega. In fact, he's the only multiple winner in the field today.
Here we see Tim Steele on the inside trying to get by Mark Stahl. And, you know, I put Mark Stahl in Daytona. We talked about Mark Stahl. He had a great run going. And I said he was from Charlotte. Well, he notified me that he's moved to Hilton Head, and they work on the car in Savannah, Georgia.
That's Mark Stahl in the car number 32. Had a top 10 finish in Daytona after qualifying in 8th spot. Had a good run down there. And we mentioned Tim Steele did the same thing in Daytona. Qualified 24th and finished 2nd. But look at this pack here trying to run him down. L.W. Miller is right there in the car number 5 behind him. The 64 car, that's Michael Dockin out of Clearwater, Florida, in only his 2nd ever ARCA start.
Looks like Ken Allen in that black and red car, right? The 4th car in line. We see Miller started 26th and now running 10th. So
Bob Hill is the car number 46. He's the red car there, Ned.
This group sort of got off to a slow start. They were racing side by side, and the front pack got away from them. Now that they've singled out, they might be able to pick back up on the front.
They are 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th. What you're watching right there, the car number 5, L.W. Miller. Whoa, as they are dicing it up. That's Glenn Brewer in the car number 10, and nearly buys the wall. And Jerry Glanville may need a pacemaker after that move. He probably had to jump in the brakes. And as you mentioned, Kyle Petty said the first time he drove, they put him in their mellow yellow Pontiac at Atlanta. That didn't frighten him enough, so here he is at Talladega. Welcome to the Super Speedways. Jerry, watch this.
Bob Strait, who did spin earlier and went in and changed 4 tires, started at the rear of the field, and we see, oh my goodness gracious, and Strait went in the corner, backed off, and Glenn Brewer, to avoid running in the back of the 37 car, had to go to the right in front of Jerry Glanville.
I tell you, Glanville handled that like a veteran. Used the brake pedal, didn't make any unusual movements. I mean, he did a great job. Let's check in with Kyle Petty. Kyle, he had to impress you.
I tell you what, when he first got in my car at Atlanta, I said, go out and bring it back in one piece. He went out and run about 30 laps and got pretty fast. So finally, I had to wave him in and get him out of the thing. But I tell you what, he's really worked hard at doing this stuff. He's come up, he's run some short tracks in the bush stuff. He wants to run some Winston Cup eventually, so he's coming up through the bush, trying to ARCA, so he can get into Winston Cup. And he's doing a great job today, man.
And it's a brand new race car, this 81, and Glanville was trying to convince A.J. Foyt to drive this car right here at the Brickyard 400 and try to qualify the Brickyard 400. And A.J. jokingly told Glanville, Glanville told me, A.J. said, I can't even fit in the window anymore. I'm not going to get in a race car. But
and Dick Trickle, as we watch all this, Dick Trickle, the outside pole center, is slow down in turn 1. Off the pace. Tough break for Trickle.
His car down on the apron. Here are the leaders up there coming out of turn 2. Apparently, we are told they have an ignition problem. Is that right, John Kernan?
Gary Rullo, the crew chief, he says they're not really sure. They think it is an ignition problem. The car just doesn't seem to want to run. A little bit of a skip in the engine. They are talking things over in the pit right now. I'm pretty sure they'll have one in a spare ignition box and flip the switch. How does he look on the racetrack right now? Is he still running pretty slowly?
Well, very slowly down the backstretch, John, and it's exactly what happened at Daytona. He completed just 10 laps, finished 39th down there after they broke a valve in the early laps. Hopefully it's something that can get the car back on the track, but his chances of victory are gone away.
And there's that group of cars that's in the second pack. They're racing for about 8th spot. I think L.W. Miller is in 9th spot right now. Yeah, they need to get in line, but they're having too much fun, aren't they, Ned? Racing side by they're racing.
Yeah, that's what they're here for, is a race. They love to run side by side, but it is costing them speed, no question about it. They aren't going to catch that front pack as long as they race with each other side by side back there.
See Bobby Bowser back there in a red and white car.
Bob Breback, the former series champion, coming all the way from his 21st starting position. Breback coming up in there. Now that's that second pack led by L.W. Miller. You heard Vinny mention they're 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and on back. Now we're going to show you as they come through the tri-oval there where the leaders are. They're heading into turn 1, and there are the leaders just exiting turn 1 over in turn 2. That's the car number 1 of Jeff Purvis and Gary Bradbury, former All-Pro and All-American Challenge competitor, getting just his 3rd start in ARCA competition, making his 4th start.
And there we almost to the extent of the back straightaway back to this group of cars. Now, Frank Kimmel has gotten in front of these cars, and they're trying to line up. Maybe they can run the leaders down.
Frank Kimmel, the 1992 ARCA STP Prestone Rookie of the Year, tries to draft his second pack toward the front, and we'll watch and hope you will when we come back. Back at Talladega, Alabama, the lead twosome, 2 Chevrolets up front, Jeff Purvis and Gary Bradbury, as they heated up here on ESPN. And for those of you expecting Speed Week, you've got the best of both worlds coming up next. Bob Jenkins and all the staff at Speed Week will bring you up to date on racing action from around the world. And of course, right now, we're going to enjoy live flag-to-flag coverage. 32nd annual event here at Talladega, the Food World 500. 500 kilometers. There's the race record. Average speed, 146.552 miles per hour.
You see these two guys trying their best to drive away from Jimmy Horton, but Horton's having nothing to do with that. Now we've got a 5-car race. Loy Allen looks like he's in a little jeopardy of And I tell you, this pack is definitely losing ground as Tim Steele has moved back to this group of cars.
Yeah, they have caught up to them now. Whether some additional cars on his bumper, Mark Stahl was running on his bumper, and sometimes 3 cars or more can run faster than 2 cars running, so I don't know if that will help them. If they stay in line, it might help them, but it doesn't look like they're going to stay in line. Well, he's up front.
Up front are staying in line and pulling away. Now, Loy Allen beginning to lose the draft a little bit. He's back in 6th position. Let's check in with Kyle Petty.
Well, Loy, like we said earlier, his car got a little bit loose when he was running up there 2nd and 3rd and backed off and back to the back of the field a little bit. Loy's car has continued to get looser and looser and looser, and as you saw a minute ago, when he's running up in the pack and somebody's tucked really up under him, his car is not only loose up off the corner, it's loose getting in the corner. He showed a lot of maturity by going to the back of that pack and just riding. His car's more stable right now. He might be losing the draft, but he knows he's got a fast enough car to race with him when he makes the adjustments. Benny?
Kyle, I talked to Dennis Conner, the crew chief on that car, and that has been the problem when Loy raced in Winston Cup this year. The car has been too tight, and they have made some adjustments on the car to try to loosen it up some, and it looks like he's got a little bit too loose. So now if they could just go the other direction a little bit and find a compromise, maybe it'll be okay.
And the car number 21, former series champion Bobby Boucher.
That's the red and white car. Right in the middle of your picture right there.
2 former series champions. In fact, the last 2 champions of this series, the 92 and 93 champion. Car number 21, that is Bobby Boucher. Behind him, the 93 champion and defending race winner here at Talladega, Tim Steele.
Ooh, boy, they're getting awfully close there.
They argue that's Bob White in that red car down there beside of, that's Kenny Allen, the 3 car out of Shelby, North Carolina.
He's having a good run.
He is having a great run. That's the on-set car. That's the satellite company.
Satellite guide. Basically, by that, they tell you how to watch ESPN, where you watch it, and enjoy your ESPN and All Sports Network. Side-by-side racing coming out of turn 2.
Steele and Bowser might make a pretty good combination here, that they've got teamed up, a couple of Fords there that might be able to help each other.
And we mentioned Dick Trickle had been slowing down after having a great run. He led the first lap of the race from his outside front row start, but we weren't sure exactly what happened with Dick Trickle. But John Kernan, what was it?
Well, Jerry, the engine skipped and then it just shut off completely. He coasted into the pits. They have checked just about everything that they can check right here on pit road, and they can't find the problem. They've got spark, they've got fuel going into the carburetor, the motor turns, but the spark is not getting to the spark plugs apparently, and the engine is not firing, so they really don't have any idea. Now it looks like they're going to go under the valve covers to check out there and see if that could possibly be the problem, but they're a little bit puzzled right now.
Like that old racing story, the spark not sparking and the plugs aren't plugging and the pistons aren't working either.
That red 66 car, Mark Thompson, a fella who we saw flip violently in Daytona, in that green car it was there. This is another car, a different car here. I didn't think we'd ever see him in another race car. Did you, Ned?
He's a brave soul to be back out here, but he loves it. And apparently no problems as a result of having that accident. He's mixing it up with him.
He had about 6 broken ribs. He had a fractured sternum, which is the breastbone. He had internal injuries. He spent a week in the hospital at Halifax and Daytona Beach, Florida. Spent about another month trying to get healed up in Georgia. And he's changed the color of that car. No more green race cars. He's running side by side with Ken Allen in his Onsat Chevrolet.
And right on the left doorpost of that car, the B pillar or the doorpost, it's got a little sticker that says, "This side up," with an arrow pointing to the sky.
Of course, he's a fighter pilot. He's accustomed to doing those pirouettes in the air, but not when you start on the ground with 4 tires.
He's hanging on the inside there pretty good.
I am impressed, Ned. I really am. The guy's doing a great job.
Here are the leaders they're chasing. It's almost a half a lap separation. These front 5 cars. Purvis in the car number 1. Bradbury in the car number 78.
I would say that these guys are being smart in lining up and driving away from that second pack. But on the other hand, it might be all they can do, Ned. Purvis might be leading them around there as fast as they can go.
That could very well be true, but it's working for them, whatever the situation is, and they are just pulling away. They're not racing, not getting side by side. And
Look just how far back in that second group it is.
There we see Loy Allen, of course, has totally lost this draft, and look, still not in the picture. There finally comes the second group. Now this is Bobby Bowser running in the 7th position.
That's Jack's kid.
Yeah.
A lot of people back there. Bowser, Tim Steele back there, Frank Kimmel, 34, Bob Breback, he's in 10th spot. We talked about Mark Thompson back in 11th.
Now we've got to go back to another group of race cars. So we've got 3 distinct groups going around this racetrack. This group is led by the 01 car of Bob Williams. That's the guy that the gas man in Daytona had it painted, said, "Hi, Benny to me." I found out he's a policeman from Chicago.
Good first one, though.
Yes, it is.
Bob's a truck driver himself up for Jones Motor Company out of Pennsylvania. Now we're going to show you 3 separate racing packs, and here are the leaders. And they sweep on the inside of turn 2. As in the next few laps, they should be getting ready to make their first scheduled pit stop. They'll make probably 2 stops, possibly 3 today here at Talladega. We'll take a quick break and come back to Talladega Superspeedway. Stay with us. Back at Talladega, Alabama. Glad to have you with us. Kyle Petty, John Kernan, Ben Parsons, Ned Jarrett, and yours truly, Jerry Punch, bringing you live action here on the high banks. Fastest stock car facility in the world, and they are enjoying it at 190+ miles per hour, trying to catch Jeff Purvis, but they haven't had a lot of luck. They are staying single file, 5 of them, Purvis, Bradbury, then comes Jimmy Horton, 52, behind him, 2-time series champion Bill Venturini, and Jeff McClure in the top 5.
And finally, I thought it's finally, but eventually, one of these days,
nevertheless,
we're going to see the second group of cars. So we see that the leaders are just simply pulling away from these guys. Here's Bobby Bowser, Bob Breedback, Mark Thompson, L.W. Miller. Bobby Bowser started in 18th and is running 7th right now.
20.2 seconds from the leader back to Bowser in this second pack. 20 seconds, and Bobby Bowser trying to make up time, but we've got pit stops coming up in another possibly 8 or 9 laps, so we'll wait and see. These are 355 cubic inch engines.
I would guess these guys can probably go 125 miles on the tank of fuel, and the tires is not going to be a problem. So
Now, gentlemen, let's see this big pack of cars. There are about 15 cars in this pack here, and here come the leaders. Right now, there are 30 cars in the lead lap, but there's a 15 of them. If they stay out there and don't make a pit stop, they're about to go a lap down.
Well, I tell you what, if the leaders catch that group of cars, we got ourselves a big mess, man. Just a big mess. Hey, Kyle, what do you think? Are they going to pit together and try to stay together? What do you think?
Well, at lap 34, the 25 car, Bill Venturini, his pit crew started getting ready. They're not going to pit until probably somewhere between 40 and 47. I talked to Kathy, his wife. She says they're going to pit with the 52 car, Jimmy Horton. Pit strategy is so important here. You can pit early and go out and have to run by yourself, and it doesn't make any difference. You have to pit with a partner, so you've got a dance partner when you go out there. I think they'll be starting any time now, Benny.
Now I see Tim Steele on the racetrack. Is Bobby Bowser also on the racetrack, on the pit road, I mean? As Steele brings his car to a halt, and I saw another car sitting there.
Of course, it's nice to be able to come in together and go out together, but you hope that the other team makes as good a pit stop as you do so that you won't lose any extra time that way.
And we see they're changing the right sides, and they are only changed the right sides. And something was wrong with Steele. He's not going.
I think they should pumping off the gas. It takes longer to put gas in than it does to change 2 tires.
And Tom Fox trying to get that car service. Meanwhile, our leaders are in heavy traffic.
Now look. Here is this heavy traffic. Kyle Petty reported there was some kind of an oil leak, a fluid leak in the back of the 16 car. And look, as Purvis goes by, Bradbury hanging on to him. He said, look, I'm going where you go.
Now, Jeff Purvis in the Delco Remy car. It's the white and red numeral car number 1 on the left side of your screen. That's their leader. Trying to work his way by traffic.
Boy, he is putting a lot of cars a lap down here in this group.
Getting a nice shot from high above at our MCI Proof Positive blimp. Those great aerial shots. Whoa!
Bradbury almost made contact with the car on the inside. And here we see Bowser and Mark Stahl heading towards pit road. Bobby Bowser in the 21 car. That red-black car right behind him was Mark Stahl.
Quality Farm and Fleet Ford Thunderbird, the 1992 Series champion. They're headed toward you, John Kernan.
Well, Jerry, as we saw Tim Steele did a two-tire right side change only, we would expect to see most of that. In fact, one team, which will remain anonymous, he's told me they're only, and there's going a spin out on the racetrack. Bowser will take only right side tires and gas. The 84 car, and it looks like the caution is coming out, Jerry.
And car number 84 of Tom Lorenz out of Red Oak, Texas, the Interstate Battery Chevrolet, has looped it around, Ed, and we're going to see caution.
And that was one of the cars that we just saw get lapped there a moment ago. It was in that big pack of cars. Now, this group of cars did not get the caution.
They didn't?
No. The caution came out behind them, I'm pretty sure. Now, they might slow down, but I looked down as they came by, and I didn't see the caution, and then just immediately the caution did come out.
Well, they're certainly racing like they didn't get the caution flag, I'll tell you that.
There's Tom Lorenz, who's fun.
But then I hope that Elmo doesn't take it, because if he pulls on the racetrack...
No, I think he realizes that they did not get the caution.
Here comes Purvis and Bradbury, and they are still at a full head of steam. And finally, Doyle Ford and Hank Wetzel on the flag stand wave the yellow flag, and as they go by, the pace car will pull on the racetrack and stay to the inside. Elmo Langley driving the safety car. And there's Ken Allen, the onset Chevrolet.
They got the caution flag last time, and I think ran around.
Okay.
Because Elmo, he's sitting in the grass down there right now. Here's we see Jimmy Horton. Jimmy Horton, how can he go in the pits when the pace car's not on the racetrack? John Kernan, what's the deal?
Benny apparently ran out of gas. They're spraying the ether into the air cleaner. The car fired once. Now it finally fires again. They were telling me they thought they could go 45 laps. Right side tires going on, and they're making a chassis adjustment in the left rear as Jimmy Horton goes out. And I think you'll have to go to the tail end of the longest line. Isn't that the rule if you pit before the pit road is open? But from where I am at the exit of pit road, I can't see if pit road is closed or not.
Tough break for Jimmy Horton.
We see it has to be closed because the pace car has never gone on the racetrack. Right. It's still sitting out there.
The pace car has to pull on the racetrack and actually come around and open up pit road at the head of the field. That's the rule. The pace car was not on the track, as you heard Benny Parsons mention. It had not come on because the leaders, Ned, had come by at full speed to take the caution flag.
Now then, let's see if the leaders go in the pits.
They probably will.
Do they know?
Open now. Let's
no,
see
it can't. The pace car still hasn't.
Okay.
That's the pace car.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. I thought the pace car had pulled out.
And he is waving that red flag to the right of your screen with the yellow cross on it, which says, no, the pits are not open, so they cannot pit. So it'll be one lap before they can pit. So while we wait for them to make that lap and head down pit road, we'll take a quick break and come back to Talladega Superspeedway. Don't go away. Well, back at Talladega, and the action just keeps on coming. Like those hits just keep on coming. Well, here, the Precision Walls car, number 74, has spun under caution, and take a wild guess. The reason, he obviously had a left rear tire going down. As we get set, we promised you pit stops, and indeed they're going to come as the safety car will lead them down. By the way, that was Danny Kelly out of DeLand, Florida, in the car number 74 that spun under the caution flag. And as they wait for Jeff Purvis to come down pit road, finally, the pits are open. They are behind the safety car, and they will make their first pit stop of the day.
Well, the caution came out at an opportune time for all of these people who had not made a pit stop. Now they get to make it under caution. Those that stopped under green, bad timing as far as they were concerned. Tough luck.
And the toughest luck of all, Jeff Purvis, the fastest car here, made it to this caution flag. So try to get a lap back on Purvis. And we see that the 78 car Bradbury over the line, and we see the official tell them still back up some. They did not back up.
Let's check with John Kernan. John?
Well, Jeff Purvis and the crew were going to pit in a couple laps anyway, so this caution comes at a very opportune time for them. It will be a 4-tire change. Right side's going on. They'll come around to the left side. Let's go down to Loy Allen's pit and Kyle Petty.
Loy Allen come into pit. They've changed right side tires. They've gone to the left side. Dave Jack, 2 or 3 rounds of wedge in this thing. Like I said before, his car was getting looser and looser. They're using this pit stop during this race to bring guys in for their Winston Cup team. had a little trouble leaving the picture. His car stalled, pushing it off, but he's back out. Benny?
You see what happened to him? And we see Bradbury, they're still holding because his nose is over the white line. Folks, you see that little white line going across pit road? The official kept telling them to back the car up. They backed it up some, but they've jacked the car up and changed the tires. And I don't know what the rule is, if they're how long they're going to hold him there, Ned.
I don't know. I think it's a 15-second penalty. Or it is in Winston Cup. Now they finally got him back there. Now maybe it's 15 seconds after that.
What a tough break for this young man who was running so well up in second spot.
Let's check in with John Kernan once again.
Well, Jerry, when they completed the 4-tire change on purpose, he started to leave his pit stall. He's in the very first pit stall. And when they dropped the jack, he killed the motor. That allowed Bill Venturini to beat him out of the pits. But Purvis did pull in behind him. So it should be pretty exciting with those two guys out in the front.
Indeed, Bill Venturini getting a great service. And here once again is all of the action. And Purvis is in the very first pit. Here's Venturini pulling out in his Chevrolet to left of your screen. He comes out, and there's the car number 2, Loy Allen, and Purvis is the third one off pit road.
And we see Jimmy Horton in the 4th car.
I think that was Jeff McClure that came out in second place there.
Hey, Kyle Petty, did you see what happened to Loy Allen when he made his pit stop?
Yeah, he came in the pits. Everything was fine. They jacked 2 or 3 rounds of wedge. When he got ready to go, he snatched it up in first gear and didn't have his foot on the clutch.
Yeah, how about that? Did you ever do something like that?
I'll have to admit, I've never done that, but I have dropped the clutch on it wide open and had it in reverse and backed up on the hood of the car behind me on numerous occasions.
Well, we talk about experience and how important it is. Now, what a tough break. Gary Bradbury is still being held and now will be. In fact, they just took a lap away. Gary Bradbury, Grady Humphreys, the veteran crew chief. What a tough break for the young man from Chelsea, Alabama, running in the top 2 all afternoon, and now goes a lap down. As we're under caution for the second time today at Talladega Superspeedway. Back with more after this. Track Packs are brought to you by Quaker Stain, the intelligent oil for longer engine life.
Each time we watch an ARCA event and something happens, a car spins and backs in the wall, or a car runs in the back of another, we say, boy, that fuel cell did its job, or thank God for fuel cells. Let me quickly explain what a fuel cell is. There's 3 parts, actually. The first part, and the most important, is the bladder. That's this piece here. It's made of Kevlar. This is a Kevlar fabric. This yellow part is the Kevlar. It's rubber coated. Now, Kevlar is impact and heat resistant. Inside this bladder goes a foam. This foam is very porous. It's actually only about 5% of the entire volume on the inside. All this foam does is help this bladder hold its shape, and so when the car uses the fuel, it doesn't suck together. All it does is help hold its shape. This is the valve that goes on top. The fuel goes in here. This is the vent. The fuel comes out of here. Goes in top. Now, these balls are on the inside. This is in case the car flips over, fuel will not run out. Now, all these pieces go inside this metal container on the outside. This helps the bladder hold its shape on the outside. ARCA rules dictate the cars can only hold 22 gallons of fuel. If it didn't have this, if we just had the bladder, it would blow up. You could probably put 30 gallons of fuel in here. This metal container simply helps it hold its shape. All this goes in the rear of the car. Just another product to try to keep the driver safe.
I tell you, fuel cells have really eliminated the risk of fire, essentially, in the fuel cell area. But here's a car that had a fire just moments ago in the pits and is still smoking down on pit road as the smoke billows beneath Tim Steele's car. The car that won here, that's exactly the same car that won here last year. The fuel cell protected it because the rear end apparently looked like it was on fire. And if they didn't have a fuel cell, that car could have been a serious liability. In fact, the driver of that car is standing by with Kyle Petty.
Yeah, I'm standing here with Tim Steele. This is the car you won with before. They were talking about fuel cells. It did protect the car from catching on fire, but nothing protects those fumes from coming up in the car, and I know you had to breathe them for a few laps.
Yeah, well, I was out there, and started smelling some smoke inside the car about 8-10 laps before we pitted, and told the guys, I hope there's yellow pretty quick, because I need some air and some water, and maybe see if we could get the thing fixed under caution. We came in under the green and pitted there and didn't really have time. They looked and didn't see nothing leaking too serious and thought maybe we could ride it out till the next caution and see what we could do, but then it just started really filling the cockpit up. I was about getting sick and things on fire. I had to get out of there.
Well, he's not happy about being out of the race, but he's happy to be back in fresh air, Benny.
Indeed he is, Kyle, as we are under caution for the second time today. Tim Steele will not finish up today at Talladega, but we will, and hope you'll stay with us. Back at Talladega, Alabama, after the second caution flag of the day, and pit stops have been completed, but because of the fact that that lead draft had left a large pack of cars just prior to the caution coming out, we now have just 11 cars on the lead lap.
Both those cars we see directly behind the pace car. Mark Stahl in the black, number 32, and Bobby Bowser, the red and white, number 21. Both those cars are a lap down because of pitting on the green flag. Now, Jimmy Horton, we see him in the very rear. He did pit too early. He ran out of fuel and pitted too early, but he was just back in the pits, and they did something. It looked like they was working inside the car. John Kern, what are they doing?
Well, Benny, he did. He also pitted another time, took left side tires, and they have to go to the tail end of the longest line. But the problem on this stop, the push-to-talk button for the radio was sticking, so they couldn't talk back and forth to Jimmy. They could hear everything he was saying, but he couldn't hear them, so they hoped that they got that little button unstuck. They went ahead and topped it off with fuel. Has he been able to catch up with the pack, though?
Yes, he is back up at the rear of the pack, but once again, he's got a tough break, and the fact there's only 11 cars in the lead lap, so theoretically there'd be about 25 cars in the long line. It looks like they're doubling up pretty well.
And Ben, as you mentioned, 2 of those cars that are in the lead lap are right in front of the leader, so technically there are only 9 that are in the lead lap. Bill Venturini is the leader.
And one car has tagged the wall on the restart right in the middle of the tri-oval area. That's the car number 82. It has spun around and hit the wall up in the middle of the tri-oval and come to rest there. That is Laura Lane out of Charlotte, North Carolina, the comic strip Ford. It's a Clayton Cunningham owned car, and she is sitting trying to get the car refired as the field now comes off of turn 2 up to full speed, and the caution once again is being waved.
And somebody is smoking in this bunch. These guys are trying to get a lap back. Watching these guys try their best to get a lap back. Venturini on the outside, and it looks to me like Bowser and Mark Stahl might do it, and this is a race for the lead. That's Jeff McClure in the 89 car trying to take the lead.
21 and 32 trying to hold on as they come to the tri-oval and get back in the lead lap. The UNLV car is the leader. Watch him trying to put him a lap down here at the tri-oval, and they take the caution flag, and both Bowser and Mark Stahl will get back in the lead lap as we are under caution for the 3rd time today at Talladega on the restart. Here is what happened just moments ago when they got the green flag. Watch to the right of your picture. Laura Lane.
We don't know exactly why she went up and made some contact with the wall. We'll try. You will see Jimmy Horton back in the 52 car. I don't know what happened. Maybe she didn't make contact with the wall. Maybe she just simply spun, and all the smoke we see. There she is, and there has been some contact on the right front fender, looks like, right on the edge of the right front fender, but no damage to the car otherwise.
Well, this was a break for Bobby Bowser and the car number 32 of Mark Stahl, because they were, I said, technically a lap down. Well, now they'll be back in the lead lap, so there will be 11 cars that are in the lead lap.
11 cars in the lead lap. Caution for the 3rd time today, and Laura Lane takes the comic strip car back on the racetrack.
I don't understand. We've got this big S on the hood of that car, and she's calling herself Laura Lane. She's got to call herself Lois Lane.
Lois Lane. Well, it's actually Laura Lane, and we got our own Superman down there. Kyle Petty, what happened to her?
From the pits, what they say happened was on the restart, they started off, they all run up. This happens all the time. They run up on each other real quick. Car in front of them slammed on brakes. It's a chain reaction. She slammed on brakes, got hit a little bit from the rear, and just spun around. There was nothing she said she could do about it. She's going to come back in again right now. Benny?
Okay, we should probably come back in and change tires. And while she does that, Jerry can take us to break.
Well, that 29-year-old Laura Lane, their first time here at Talladega, and we will indeed take this break under caution once again here at Talladega Superspeedway. Don't you dare go away. back at Talladega. That's the left front tire that came off of Laura Louise Lane's car, the young lady who had trouble just a moment ago on the restart, and that's going to be hard for anybody to drive a race car with a tire like that on it.
It's going to be hard to pick up, too. But you see, no one wants to pick the tire up. It's so hot. Hey, Cal, what happened to the left front?
It was the left front and the left rear. When she spun the car, the tires went flat. The left side tires went flat. She had to ride all the way back around the racetrack and get called back up. This is what these radials do. The sidewalls come out of them in different places. You can see it's just about, that's the way the radials are put together, and you can see they're just the same amount apart all the way around. Hey, that's what happens. You can't run on flat tires anywhere, Benny.
All right, green flag. We're back racing again in a minute.
And definitely the interliner kept the interliner to tire inside a tire, which you've seen us do on track back, which kept the car off the ground and allowed her to get back to the pit road. But Jeff McClure leads him down as the leader. Back to green flag racing once again at Talladega. 52 laps complete, 117 comprise this 500-kilometer race here at the world's fastest stock car facility.
Venturini can't get his car going.
No, he was slow on the other start, and Jeff McClure got around him. Here's Jeff Purvis going to make it 3 deep. He's going for second place. Venturini in the green and white. Is that blue and white or green and white up there on the outside? Anyway, it's a two-color car.
Sort of teal and white. I think it's sort of a combination.
Between, okay. But
that 33 car of Harris Devane is right in the middle of the sandwich. Harris, the one on the right. Back up, back up.
Oh, man.
Three abreast. Loyal on the outside, Jeff Purvis. Now, Breback surely is not going to try to make it 4 abreast. No.
And Venturini got himself a run and went up there and took the lead. He just came out of that pack and went up and passed Jeff McClure. Took the lead while these cars run 3 abreast.
And Harris Devane is just having the time of his life and almost takes out Loyal in the car number 2. The 1 car of Purvis on the inside, the 2 car of Loyal on the outside, and the car number 33, which is only a lap down in 12th spot. He's trying to hang right there and get his lap back.
I tell you, that's a wreck fixing to happen there. Just waiting to happen.
Just looking for a place, ain't it?
Yep, that's right.
Oh, man. It was a simple pass up front. Phil Venturini going by and taking the lead. But this right here is the battle, and as you heard Ned say, this is where the action could very easily happen in any moment.
Well, they've sort of gotten separated a little bit there now. It still was pretty heavy. They're going to put Jeff Purvis in the middle here now. No, he knows better than that. He backed out and got down on the inside. He's not going to get himself in that position.
And I guess the 3 car, Kenny Allen, has been black flagged. Exactly why is Bob Hill in the 46 car. That was the car that blew by Jeff Purvis. Purvis is trying to go back by him.
There's Horton in the car 52 again that had the unscheduled stop, the early stop because they ran out of fuel. If you don't have much choice to run out of fuel, you better stop. You're going to stop somewhere. Best on pit road, so they put him at the tail end of the lead of the longest line. He's back on for the front. Well, what a great show in Talladega. Thoroughly enjoy the racing action. The fans, great crowd on hand today. Glad you're enjoying it. We are too. Take a look at our AutoZone race summary. Bill Venturini, currently our leader, has led 7 of the 53 completed laps. There have been 6 lead changes among 5 different cars. There are 10 cars currently on the lead lap, 2 caution flags for 52 laps. The average speed, 136.588 miles per hour.
You know, Ned, we talked about... I'm sorry.
Give me 1 second, Benny. Lap leaders, Purvis, Venturini, Dick Trickle, Jeff McClure, and Jimmy Horton. They are the people who have led this race. And out of race, Bobby Coyle did not start with an engine problem. Kerry Teague had engine problems early on. You heard Bob Keselowski, Joel White had a problem. Bob Shack and Tim Steele, who you heard Kyle Petty talk with moments ago. And Dick Trickle, earlier in the event, one of our early leaders, is now parked.
You know, Ned, we talked about at the top of the show how much better the ARCA drivers are getting here on the big tracks. And you know that what we saw just a moment ago, 3 years ago, that would have been a huge crash. Yeah. But they handled that beautifully, those guys.
They really did. Yeah, that was impressive. When they come out, I was holding my breath because I thought something big was about to happen.
Then we see Purvis and Loyal have broken free of that group of cars. And there comes Horton.
The lead 2 cars, the left of your screen, Venturini and McClure. Then comes Purvis and Allen. Horton there in the top 5.
Venturini's my neighbor. He lives about a half mile from me. in Concord, North Carolina, as we're watching the middle car, there's Bobby Bowers with the red and white car, trying to point him out, and back to the lead. Purvis trying to take the lead going down towards turn 1.
He has Loy Allen right on his bumper. Loy in the Hooters car number 2. And now Loy goes up in the outside groove, but here comes Horton down to maybe give an assist to Purvis, but he might not assist him, he might just pass him.
And Horton takes it all the way down on the inside. They are 3 wide down this 4,000-foot back straightaway in turn 3. And the car number 5 going right with them. That is L.W. Miller. He is also on the lead lap as they are battling up front. 6 cars. Coming at you at over 190 miles per hour. Venturini, McClure, Horton, then comes Miller, Allen, and Purvis squeezing now back in the 6th position.
Yeah, he went from trying to take the lead back to 6th. Doesn't take much when they get a run on you.
Now we see Bobby Bowser back running very well, and now is in the lead lap. That last caution flag, he and Mark Stahl able to get their laps back.
And the reason they had gotten the lap down, they had made green flag pit stops just before that caution came out. So
and there's Gary Bradbury, that red car right behind Bowser. The fellow who made the pit stop ran second. Most of the early part of the race made the pit stop and was penalized 1 lap for not backing up over the line.
Back up front, actually once again in contact with the wall. Heavy contact that looks to be the car. Jeff McClure has been involved in that incident. As a car they came together, that was L.W. Miller in the car number 5, the short track ace from Pennsylvania and New York. What a great run he was having. He gets jammed up against the outside wall, also collects Jeff McClure. Here's Venturini in car number 25 and Jimmy Horton, as they will be shown at the lead twosome. Along with them should be Loy Allen and Jeff Purvis, as those 4 cars will lead them back to the caution flag. Heavy contact just past the start-finish line, entering turn 1, and those cars have come to rest. Now McClure gets his car fired down on the grass in turn 1, as here comes Venturini and Horton down to take the caution flag, and they see the lights and the flagman waving, realizing there are cars just sitting on the apron and 1 car up against the outside retaining wall down in turn 1. That's L.W. Miller.
And we see a track worker there. Let's watch this. We see McClure on the inside, L.W. Miller on the outside, and Miller goes up, hits the wall, and comes down and catches McClure.
And there's the roof flap. You can see once McClure's car got backwards, that roof flap came up, did his job, kept the car down.
Different angle here, once again looking at it from a high camera up in turn 1. Here's what happened. Look at Loy Allen's move just to get by on the inside. But McClure not quite as lucky. The car gets backwards. Those roof flaps come up, keep the car on the ground, do exactly as they were designed to do, and probably, I think, one of the best engineering inventions we've seen in stock car racing in a lot of years to make this sport even safer than it already is.
And starting in August, NASCAR will make them mandatory on all tracks in Winston Cup racing that are a mile or longer.
That's 2 of the bravest people I've ever seen in my life. Cars going by them 150 miles an hour, and they're out there trying to aid the driver. And we say they put a cable. What are they doing there with that cable? Are they trying to keep the car from...
Trying to keep the car from moving so they can get the driver out. They want to make sure they've anchored the car, and the car is in a stable position before letting the driver get out of the car. And that's it's another move for... In fact, a lot of crews at racetracks practice extricating drivers from cars. They put a car up on the banking, and here at Talladega, one of the best crews in the business, you see they've got that car anchored, and they get the young man, 20 years of age, L.W. Miller, in the car number 5.
And they're putting a rescue worker in the car to drive it. Have you ever seen that before, Ned?
No.
I haven't either.
They're going to get the driver out and get him in to get him checked out at the Infield Care Center.
The blimp is looking for a wreck. There he finds one. Same wreck we saw a moment ago, Ned.
Yep. Miller just got into the wall and rocked back down into McClure.
see Jeff finally come to stop with both. And there's another car that did spin. I don't think he made any contact.
And nearly gets collected, but the car loops around once again and comes to rest down on the grassy apron.
That's a good shot from Flint because we hadn't seen that before.
And here's the Runnin' Rebels Chevrolet, or what's left of Runnin' Reb, and the Runnin' Reb mascot is down there in McClure's pits, but I believe that fast break is over with as the crew takes a look at that car or what's left of it. John Kernan is standing by.
Jerry, Jeff, who shut the engine down, is you can well see a lot of damage to the right front. Now they'll look underneath the car, and it looks as though their day is going to be over because that right front of that car was pushed over about 1.5 foot, it looks like.
A tough day for Jeff McClure. We mentioned he had Florida State on his car at Daytona. He'll have the University of Florida on at Pensacola next week. He'll have Penn State on the car at Pocono. And when you see there's Runnin' Reb right there, he's not a happy camper right now, are you, Runnin' Reb? That car sitting on pit road. Hey, one of those days, huh? Single elimination tournament here in racing. Once you hit the wall, you're out of it. But we're not. We'll be back with more from Talladega after this. Back at Talladega, Alabama, under caution once again. And there's the car number 02. Our Sears Die-Hard driver profile today belongs to that young man, 32 years old today, Frank Kimmel, out of Jeffersonville, Indiana, the Grammer Industries Oldsmobile, the 1992 ARCA Rookie of the Year, 5th in ARCA points in both 92 and 93. Now, he comes from a racing family. Father Bill raced a lot, and I'm sure you've learned a lot over the years.
Well, I know this restrictor plate racing is really tough, but you learn every time you go on the racetrack, and you've got real good racers out here, and I enjoy running with Purvis and guys like that because they're the best in this class, and so you go out and try to be able to run with those guys, and you learn each lap on the racetrack, and especially on these big tracks because drafting is so important, and that takes experience, and that's what we're here to get.
He is one of 7 kids, children. Bill Kimmel, his dad, raced back in the early 60s with Benny Parsons, of course, and finally retired in 78.
Late 60s, not early 60s, okay. Late 60s.
Late 60s. Well, there's a good look at the 5th place competitor. Now, Jeff McClure has climbed out of his car, and unfortunately, his day is over. Right, John Kernan?
Jerry, Jeff just asked his crew if they might be able to get the car fixed so he could run a few more laps, but they pulled the tow truck up. It looks like they're going to haul it back to the garage area. Jeff getting himself a nice cold drink. Are you okay, Jeff?
Yeah, I'm fine. It's my little old race car's hurting. My feelings is hurt. You know, I was just sitting there riding, just trying to stay out of trouble. And even under caution, I got hit on the back stretch. Somebody got me over there, and a boy got me off of 2 or 3 down here, whatever it is. And it's just wild, man. It ain't no sense in racing that hard that long. You know, I was patient enough to sit there behind Venturini and all them guys, but I just hate it for all my boys here, man. They worked so hard to give me a good car this weekend. UNLV and Goodyear tires and just everybody, man. R&E radios, everybody's done me a great job. We had a car that could have won the race. And it's probably the first time in my life I ever sat there being patient and this happened. So maybe I ought to think about sitting there riding and just go on next time.
All right, Jeff McClure, and yep, here we have the Runnin' Reb. And I guess a little disappointed, huh? Yeah, I guess he's at a loss for words right now, as you might imagine, coming all the way from Las Vegas right out here. How have you enjoyed stock car racing so far? Good. All right. Well, there you have the official word. He's speechless. He enjoys stock car racing so much, the Runnin' Rebel is speechless.
And, John, at Michigan, that car will be painted like a Wolverine helmet, a Michigan helmet. So all the folks who watch us at Michigan up there for the ARCA race in June, which we'll have on ESPN, that car will be like a Wolverine helmet. He'll have the North Carolina State Wolfpack on the car for one of the races in the Carolinas, and he'll have Penn State on it for Pocono. So, hopefully better days ahead for Jeff McClure. Back with more from Talladega after this. Back at Talladega, Alabama, under caution here. And once again, we talked about what happened up in turn 1. Jeff McClure just talking with John Kernan. His car is the number 89, and watch L.W. Miller slam the wall. And McClure right there to get turned sideways and end his day in hopes for victory.
Ned, very fortunate that McClure did not go tumbling down the racetrack. He was at a perfect angle to start flipping wildly down. My brother Phil, remember that terrible crash he had here? That's basically how his crash started.
Again, I think those flaps on the roof flaps helped in that situation.
And pace cars off the racetrack, and looks like we're just about ready to go green as Bill Venturini, the line on the outside, the lead line. Cars on the inside, cars a lap down, and green flag waves. We're back racing again.
Lap 66 of 117, which make up this 500-kilometer event. Bill Venturini trying to pick up his first win in a couple of years. There were 11 different winners last year. Venturini was not among those.
Wow! Look at that move on the outside. No room. Frank Kimmel made himself a spot.
Frank Kimmel being shown in 5th position was our Sears diehard driver profile. Pretty good run for Bobby Boucher in the car number 21, who made up a lap. On the caution flag that came out, the previous caution flag that came out, made up a lap here at the start-finish line.
Bobby now being shown in the 6th position, one of 8 cars in the lead lap.
We'll see the 32 car. Mark Stahl, the black car on the inside with the yellow hood, alongside the black car with the red hood. That's Bob Straight.
.51 laps to go here at Talladega. Let's check in with John Kernan.
Well, Jerry, as you mentioned, it's Frank Kimmel's birthday, and that car may look a little bit familiar. It's a different paint job. Remember this in the Winston Cup race back in 1991, Harry Gant and Rick Bass, that little tandem, little gas gate, if you will, on the final laps of the Winston 500. That is the same car that Harry Gant won the Winston 500 with here back in 1991, an AED engine. Frank Kimmel says this year with his restrictor plate engines, he's able to spend a little more money, and he feels very confident he possibly could walk away with his first win right here today.
Got a good shot at it right now, being shown back in the 5th position following Venturini, Horton, and Loyola. Those are the front 3 cars. Then comes Purvis, Kimmel, the car John was talking about, and of course the car number 21 in 6th position. That is Bobby Boucher. 8 cars in the lead lap. Mark Thompson and the car of Hill, also on the lead lap, car number 46, Bob Hill out of Story City, Iowa.
You can see there are 10 cars that are 1 lap down, and then we get into those that are 2 or more laps down. Jerry Glanville among those.
This is the best I've seen Vince Ring run in the last couple of years, Ned.
Yes, he run good. Hasn't he?
Well.
Very good run. I think he's really going to try to make a concentrated effort towards trying to win the championship this year.
Of this car number 46 that's on the lead lap. Last car on the lead lap might be able to make it all the way on fuel, which the other cars were making it less than 45 laps, and that would be a stretch. And I guarantee you they'll be checking some fuel cells on Bob Hill's car, but he started 7th, currently in 8th position, has not led a lap, but word from the pits is that he might be able to make it all the way on that Clement sponsored car.
We'll have to wait and see about that. Here comes Loy Allen trying to... Let's see, who's passing who, Ned?
Well, I don't know. I thought he was trying to pass Horton, but here comes Purvis down on the inside. Makes it 3 deep going into turn 1. And Allen will back off.
And looks like Jeff Purvis is the winner of that exchange.
Yep. He came out in 2nd place. Watch the battle here for 4th and 5th. 3rd and 4th, I should say.
Horton currently holding 3rd position in the 52 car. On the inside now, 2-car draft. That may help Loy Allen a little bit now that Boucher is pulled up behind him.
But I believe Loy Allen's car is still a little loose.
Yeah.
That car wiggled a little bit going into the turn. And here at Talladega, Stephen wiggles a little bit. You got some problems.
Yeah, he definitely does not want to go into the car on the outside of him. He's shied away from doing that all day long. Those red cars back there are Mark Thompson and Gary Bradbury. Both those cars a lap down.
Oh, Bradbury is. Thompson is still in there.
Single file up front. Bill Venturini holds the all-time qualifying record at this racetrack, 205.432 miles per hour. He set back in 87. Prior to the plates.
For the ARCA cars.
The ARCA cars. Remember, Elliott was over 212 miles per hour. Here's the car number 21, Boucher. has finished second here, but never won at Talladega, the 1992 Series champion, right on the inside of Roy Allen as they dice it up for the 4th spot.
I think he sensed that Allen's car was a little bit loose. We saw that Purvis went down on the inside, and Allen would not contest him down there, would not go with him, because his car, as Benny said, he just doesn't want to get down underneath someone. Up on the high side there right now, and I think that's where he wants to ride, with that car being a little bit loose.
You'll see Mark Thompson's now pulled up behind Allen. Now he decides to go with Bowser.
And look what it does for Bowser. Just pushes him right on out front. Didn't take but just a little bit. Got down there and gave him a little bit of, didn't actually touch him, but that's what the draft does for you.
We heard Kyle Petty mention that the 2 car was very, very loose. Kyle, has it gotten any worse?
No, I tell you what, they came in, they put some wedge in the car, they adjusted the car. The car's really driving good, according to Dennis Conner. He says right now that Lloyd's out there running, getting an education, getting ready for tomorrow's race, trying to see what the car does on the outside, trying to see what the car does on the inside. This car and his Winston Cup car are pretty much identical, man, Benny.
Okay.
Well, the Big E, experience, or as Felix Lamont would call it, experience, trying to learn a little bit about racing. Watch this. You talk about some experience here. 3 wide, down out of the back stretch, down the back straightaway as they are at 190 miles an hour. Dicing it up back there. Bob Strait in car number 37. Mark Stahl in the 32. Pretty good run for the car number 33. These cars are a lap down, but a good run, good effort.
Terrence Devane in the red number 33 car. Bob Breback is leading that group in the red and yellow car. You see straight on the inside.
Breback being shown in the 10th position.
And the leaders are way back over, headed down the back straightaway, 4,000 feet, as Venturini, Jimmy Horton, and Jim Purvis, 3 Chevrolets lead the way here in the Food World 500. 44 laps remain. Can Venturini go to victory lane here at Talladega for the first time? We'll find out in just a moment. Back at Talladega, Alabama, 75 laps being completed here as our ESPN Speed World coverage continues to the Food World 500. Now, the big question mark is going to be fuel mileage. Remember Daytona? Sterling Marlin won the Daytona 500 on fuel mileage, able to outlast some of the other competitors. The questions are, as we see him dice it up now for 2nd spot, and Purvis falls back in line into car number 1 behind Horton and Venturini. But, Benny, the question is, the leader may not be able to make it another 10 laps or so.
Well, the question I got right now is Venturini slowing down, because they had a 3-car breakaway when we went to commercial. We come back from commercial, and Bobby Bowser and those cars behind him caught the leaders. So Venturini, Purvis, and Jimmy Horton evidently slowed down just a little bit to allow these cars to catch up. Maybe Venturini was trying to let someone else get in front of him so he could follow them and try to save some fuel mileage. As we're watching another race, back over in the corner, the right-hand corner of the screen, that's the 46 car. That's Bob Hill. Now, he stopped and topped off on that last caution flag. They're speculating from the pits that they can go all the way on fuel, but he's going to have to draft somebody if he's going to be able to make it the rest of the way on fuel.
Well, Bob Hill has a Richard Childress motor in it, and remember, that's the owner for Dale Earnhardt, and they spend a lot of time working on fuel mileage, and that's Finney Clendenin, Richard Childress engine in that red car you see in the insert of your screen. He was the last car on the lead lap. They think they can make it all the way. Man, what a reach that would be for them. But if they can do it, if we stay caution-free, that would probably put that car in victory lane.
And some of our spotters are saying that Venturini can only go to lap 82. I mean, John Kerner, what's going on down there as far as the gas strategy is concerned?
Benny, 3 of the leaders that are down here on my end of pit road, as Bobby Bowser can go the farthest distance. That would be lap 92. I just talked to Timmy Cahoot on Jimmy Horton's car. He's planning on pitting about lap 82, and they have discussed it with Venturini's team about pitting together. Purvis could go an additional 6 laps. At least that's what we're being told down here on pit road. The longest that I've got, Bowser at 92 laps. I don't have anyone on my end who thinks they can make it the rest of the way.
I mean, 92 laps to 117 laps.
That's a big difference.
Big difference.
Brian Kimmel in the in car 02, trying to make a run, and Kimmel looks like he's going to get serious here, but you get a nice shot from high above. The MCI blimp giving us those wonderful aerial shots as this lead draft.
We see our last lap average speed, 192.370 miles per hour. That's just about what the qualifying Jeff Purvis qualified for the pole. As a matter of fact, Purvis ran 192.5, so just a little bit slower than the pole run. And look at Bowser has worked himself up to the second spot. And I know Jack Bowser has to be thrilled to death.
Well, I'll tell you, he's racy looking.
He is. This is by far Bowser's best run on the big tracks, Daytona and Talladega.
Bobby Bowser told me yesterday in the garage that he never names his race cars, but decided he would name this one Brittany after his 3.5-year-old daughter, hoping to change his luck, and it just may have worked here at Talladega as he's having a great run. And talk about side-by-side action there in turn 3. And who's going to make it through? Loy Allen on the inside, Purvis up high, and right behind him, Ned Jarrett Horton is right there with a host of cars.
Yes, he is. He got caught up on the outside a little while ago. Now he's down on the inside, and he's without a partner again down there. He got without a partner on the outside. He thought he'd follow the car number 2 through, but it didn't stay down there long. Now Purvis gets down there and goes with Bowser.
A lead change. Bobby Bowser has taken the lead, and he got Venturini off the throttle. And see what happens, when you just back off the throttle a little bit, you go back to about 5th spot.
And we are told Venturini may be coming down pit road here very shortly. He has backed off and has gotten those cars off of his tail. Apparently it is the pit window as he now comes out of the screen. There is Bobby Bowser, the 1992 ARCA SuperCar Series national champion.
And Venturini is coming in the pits with no one coming in with him then. He better hope and pray when he goes back on the racetrack he ends up with someone who can run decently. He will be long ways behind, making a pit stop all by himself.
Oh, yeah, he'll lose a second of a lap out there just running by himself. And we understand that maybe Horton was supposed to come with him. Kyle, what's going on down there?
Venturini they had been in contact with Horton's pit. They wanted to go to lap 82, 83, 84. Then they decided they were going to stretch it 5 laps. Venturini said there's no way we can stretch it 5 laps. We've got to come in this pit window. So he was stuck coming in by himself. Horton is trying to stretch it. They've changed right side tires. They've moved around to the left side tires. It's just like Denny and Ned said. If he goes back out here by himself and doesn't have a dance partner when he gets back out there, they're going to check out on him by a second or more lap.
28.9 seconds, and he nearly collects one car coming down pit road to car number 93. That is Wayne Larson. There are the leaders coming by. He loses at least 1 lap in the pits as they are yet to make their pit stop, and Purvis gets a little wiggly up high, trying to go around Frank Kimmel. That is for the 2nd position. They are right behind the car number 21, 27-year-old Bobby Bowser, our leader, as the field, the lead draft. Now we're going to watch and see if possibly Horton and some of the other cars decide to make a pit stop in the next couple of laps.
I was totally surprised that they would need to come in this early. I didn't mark down when they were in the last time, but I thought they could go over it to past the 100-lap mark. But the guys in the pit coming in lap 82.
And Jimmy Horton's coming in.
Okay.
Right on schedule, we are told. Apparently the 55 spoiler requires a lot of fuel. They have to burn it. They have an open intake on these cars. And there is Jimmy Horton, the Kenny Schrader-owned Chevrolet, headed for pit road, and John Kerner.
Well, Jerry, they had come down and tried to get something worked out. Venturini's team did, but they weren't quite ready here. They wanted to stretch it to 82 to 84 laps. Jimmy/Horton is in. They'll put right side tires. First can of gasoline going in. Henry Benfield from Bill Elliott's crew with his second can of gasoline. Right side tires are changed, getting every drop of glass. 14 even the leaders exiting turn 3.
That's about half the time it took Venturini's pit stop on a little over 28 seconds.
Yeah, he's going to be way out in front of Venturini even when he gets his speed up. Now, the 21 car, is he coming into the pits? Bowser?
Bobby Bowser will come down, and brother Gary Bowser will go to work on our lead car, the Quality Farm and Fleet Ford Thunderbird, trying to get his first victory ever at Talladega as he's finished second here a couple of years ago and brings it down pit road very deliberately and heads for our John Kerner.
Jerry, we would have expected him to stay out just a little bit longer. They're not going to change tires. They'll clean the grill. It's going to be gasoline only for Bobby Bowser, a former champion here. As the one drink cup goes flying out. Also, the leaders are now in turn 3, and the second can of gas going in. Bowser sitting patiently on pit road, gets the okay as he heads down pit road as the leaders come out of turn 4.
15.3 seconds for Bowser. Thus far, Timmy Kohut and the Ken Schrader crew.
All the leaders are coming in the pits. All of them. Here comes Purvis. And Loy Allen, that other car, the red car, Gary Bradbury, he is a lap down to these two cars. They are pitted together. That's great strategy, Ned.
Yes, Frank Kimball stayed out there. Let's go to the pits and call Petty.
Loy Allen's just coming to pits. They're changing. They look like they're just going to change right sides and do 2 cans of gas. We've seen 3 different pit strategies. Venturini changed 4, Horton changed 2, and Bowser changed nothing. So, John, what's it look like down here?
Well, I mean, Jeff Purvis is pitted gasoline only, and they also, guys, when he comes by, look on the right side of the car. They were taping up something on the lower right door panel on his car.
Can't see anything, John, as the car goes by. And here comes, is this 02 Frank Kimball coming down pit road, Ned?
Yep, I think it is. And Jimmy Horton is going to be the guy that's going to be way out in front when all of these pit stops are over.
Great pit stop by Horton. There is Frank Kimball in the car number 02, getting the Indiana Steel Company and Grammer Industries car. They had fuel, no tire change. Remember, Purvis didn't change tires. Neither did Bowser, you heard Kyle Petty say. Either one of those, and neither did the car number 02 of Frank Kimball as he heads down pit road.
Now, right now, I guess that Mark Thompson in 6 car is leading the race because he has not stopped yet.
Yep. And they say the 46 car might not have to stop. That's Bob Hill.
I'm going to believe that when I see it.
Yeah.
I'll agree with that. We'll find out, but right now, Mark Thompson, that's the red and white car right there, is being shown as our leader here at Talladega. Back with 4 after this. Stay with us. 88 laps complete here at Talladega. Mark Thompson, our leader. Bob Hill in second spot. Jimmy Horton now, that great pit stop, back up to 3rd. Jeff Purvis is 4th. And Frank Kimball rounding out the top 5. Lots of racing action to come your way tomorrow. Yes, right here at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time, live from Talladega, Alabama. The Winston Select 500. And defending champion Ernie Irvan. Can Ernie Irvan win it for the 2nd year in a row? And he will start from the pole position in the Texaco Havoline Ford Thunderbird. Our leader is on pit road, and that is the Mark Thompson car. They top it off in fuel. That puts the car number 46 out front. Now, we have been told from their pits that they can run all the way, but they're going to be a reach, I got to believe.
A real reach. There he goes. And, you know, the worst part about it is that he really isn't running a line like he's trying to go the rest of the way. Kyle, what do you think? Can this guy make it the rest of the way?
No way. They have recalculated here. They're doing elementary math or something. I don't know what they're doing. Now they've decided they can only go to somewhere between 98 laps and 105. So a minute ago we had them going all the way. Now they've got a 7-lap window that they think they're going to run out of gas in.
Well, Bob Jenkins is not here, Kyle. Maybe he's down there doing their math for him.
Got to be, or else they borrowed Bob's calculator, Benny. But I didn't believe that. And I would love to see Bob Hill be able to make it and get a win here in his just a few starts in ARCA competition. But I don't believe it's going to happen. They're going to have to make a pit stop, as you heard Kyle say, somewhere before lap 105.
Well, right now he's about a half a lap ahead of Jimmy Horton and Jeff Purvis, who are running bumper to bumper in 2nd and 3rd.
And I saw the 02 car just a moment ago get black flagged. Frank Kimball, a young man out of Indiana who was running so well, and I don't know if he needed the black flag or not, but I guess that he was was going too fast on pit road, had to come back in, and I'm told he did heed the black flag, so he's probably a lap down now.
And we'll take a look at the interval back to our 2nd and 3rd place cars, Jimmy Horton and Jeff Purvis. There they come from the triangle right there. Horton in the AC Delco car owned by Kenny Schrader. Great pit stop by Timmy Kohut and the crew. Mark Reno and company not even changing tires on the Delco Remy car of Jeff Purvis in car number 1. They are being shown in second and third position.
When they came out of the pits, Horton was about 3 seconds ahead of Purvis. Purvis had the benefit of a lap car that they drafted together with and caught Horton. And so now they're running second and third, about half a lap behind the leader.
And I would guess that the 46 car is planning on a gas and go. He probably will not change tires, trying to keep up as front as much as he can. But I don't think that he can stop and maintain the lead. Do you, Ned?
No, I don't think so. The slowdown time, getting into the pits and then getting back up to speed again is tremendous here. Even if he makes like a 7 or 8 second pit stop, that slowdown and getting back up to speed is what will cost him.
Yeah, you're right. Probably the time he gets stopped, these guys will go by. There we see.
There's the car number 46 of Summit Automotive. Car number 46, running up front, Bob Hill out of Story City, Iowa. 39-year-old driver. Finished 4th in Atlanta last November. Only his 4th ever ARCA start, and the young man has never seen this racetrack except on television.
That blue car is Peter Gibbons right in front of Bob Hill. Now let's go back. That's the leader of the race. We'll try to find our second place car. And here he comes off turn 4. That's Jimmy Horton. Some of the guys in the pits are concerned that the one car, Jeff Purvis, who you see there in the red and white car, concerned that they might not put enough fuel in the car for him to be able to finish the race.
Well, they have a good many laps to go, so they needed to get it almost full.
I noticed most of those cars were out there putting both cans in and waiting until the car came out the vent pipe for the overflow to make sure it was full. I know Bowser stayed in there long enough to do that.
Showing you our field summary. You can pick out where your favorite driver is. Of course, see the drivers that are out of the race already. Jeff McClure had a great run going early on. Was involved in an incident with L.W. Miller and vying for a lead position in turn 1 just a few laps back. He has since parked that car. Second and third place cars with 23 laps to go here at Talladega Superspeedway. Jimmy Horton looking to win his 3rd one at Talladega. And Jeff Purvis, although he has run so well here for years, has yet to go to victory lane. A couple of second place finishes for Purvis here, a 3rd, a 4th, and a 5th, but yet to win one.
Now, Jerry, these cars, second and third, are about 5 seconds ahead of Roy Allen, who is currently shown in the 4th position. And then Bobby Bowser is a long, long way behind the car number 2.
Laps are winding down at Talladega Superspeedway, and this the 32nd annual Food World 500. Back with more from Talladega after this.
Hope you can join us tomorrow following the Winston Select 500 from Talladega. This lithograph and many other items will be available to you while I talk shop with whoever happens to swing by the studio. Might just be this guy right here, Jeff Gordon. Join us to find out tomorrow.
And Jeff Gordon, in fact, the last driver to qualify for the Winston Select 500. He will start back in 40th position tomorrow, so he could make it interesting tomorrow coming from the back of the pack.
The 3rd car in line, the red car, Bob Hill, is the leader of the race. We'll see Peter Gibbons and Bob Breback right in front of these cars lap down to the leader.
Well, they're right in front of the leader, so they are being shown as in the lead lap. So apparently they have not made a pit stop either. So we're showing 9 cars on the lead lap. I said a moment ago that Bobby Bowser was far behind Loy Allen. That's not correct. He's only about 3 seconds behind Bobby Bowser, but car number 2 of Loy Allen was about 5 seconds behind. He now is about 7 seconds behind the 2 cars that are second or third, which are the fastest cars on the racetrack, and that is Jimmy Horton and Jeff Purvis.
Well, you know, the problem that Loy Allen, the problem that Bobby Bowser has, the problem that Bill Venturini, they're all running by themselves.
Yeah.
If they could get hooked up, they might have a chance to run the leaders down, but they're all out there running by themselves and losing ground every lap to this car, the leader, Bob Hill, and also, and most importantly, losing laps to Jeff Purvis and Jimmy Horton,
who have already made their pit stops and are set to go, and they're running together. So you got 2 good fast cars that are hooked up together.
There's Bob Hill. We are showing 98 laps complete, so he will have to make an entry onto pit road sometime in the next 6 to 7 laps. We heard Kyle Petty say that they had That crew had borrowed Bob Jenkins' calculator and figured they had to stop sometime around lap 105, so that's only about 6 laps away.
And wonder how bad these two cars, those blue cars in front of him, would like to see a caution right now. That put them in the lead lap. But and of course, I'm sure that Hill would like to see a caution too, because he knows he's going to lose the lead, and at least they keep him in the lead lap.
And he's losing a lot of ground to Horton and Purvis. They gained about 3 seconds in the last 3 or 4 laps on him.
Of course, that's Bob Bree back in the car number 34, who was the 1990 Series champion. Finished third here last year in this race at Talladega, the Food World 500. Peter Gibbons, as you heard Vinny say behind him, from Stouffville, Ontario. Just moved to Mooresville, North Carolina. Built a shop down there. He's in the car number 92. And let's show our second and third place cars that are coming and closing the gap considerably. As Ned Jarrett mentioned, Jimmy Horton, the AC Delco car, 52, that won at Daytona, with Jim Purvis behind him in the car number 1.
That black car, Mark Stahl, is a lap down to these guys.
In fact, he's being shown 2 laps down, Benny, in 15th position. He was a lap down when he made his pit stop. He must have gotten another lap down.
So momentarily, when our leader has to make an entry on the pit road, these will be the 2 cars that will be battling up front. They currently are second and third, Horton and Purvis, Harris Chevrolet.
You can see they've already pulled out to about 10-car length advantage on Mark Stahl, who's directly behind them.
I'm told that Jimmy Horton actually has gone to work for Kenny Schrader at the shops in Concord. In fact, I'm told Timmy Kohut, the crew chief for Schrader, prepares all these different kinds of race cars. Maybe the most talented man in racing because he can prepare a car for anything. Winston Cup, Busch, sprint cars, midgets, whatever. They built a short track car, and Jimmy Horton is going to take the short track car to Pensacola next week and run the ARCA race there.
Yes, he told me last night he was going to do that. And I guess Kenny Schrader is going up to running the Busch race at the New Hampshire International Speedway out of the Schrader stables. He told me they got like 17 or 18 race cars down there in the Schrader race.
They got everything from go-karts to sprint cars to Winston Cup cars. And remember, Kenny Schrader will field a car in the Brickyard 400 for Gary Bettenhausen. Of course, you'll be able to see Gary B. running for brother Tony Bettenhausen later on in the month of May as he tries to qualify for the Indianapolis 500.
There's the 02 car, Frank Kimmel. That puts him 2 laps down. After he made that pit stop, he was speeding down pit road, had to come back in, and he's now 2 laps down to these cars.
And gentlemen, at the rate these 2 cars right here are running second and third place cars, the way that they're gaining on Bob Hill right now, even if he didn't have to stop, they're going to run him down the way that they've been going for the last 10 laps and pass him anyway.
102 laps complete, 117 make up this race. And we might mention to you, of course, that for those of you who are tuning in to see Speed Week, we are enjoying live racing action from Talladega, Alabama, the world's fastest stock car facility, enjoying great ARCA action, the Food World 500. Tomorrow, our live flag-to-flag coverage of the Winston Select 500. Ernie Irvin on the pole.
Uh-oh, here he comes. He's coming down pit road. It's our leader. Cal Petty's going to be coming to you just in a second, buddy.
The 46 car says they're going to come in. They just need a splash of gas. They say they only need 4 or 5 gallons of gas. What they plan on doing is stopping the car. The gas man is going to run along with the cars that come in. He's come to a complete stop. The gas can's in. They're cleaning the windshield. The gas can's out. And they're gone. These guys are still going to be behind, though, Ned.
Yeah, they're going to be behind, Kyle, but that was a very good pit stop. That's going to get him a good finish if he don't speed down pit road. He's got to be careful about that now.
Watch your speed.
Well, don't speed down pit road. I think he's okay. Like, just looking at myself, but I'm not the NASCAR, the ARCA official.
Pretty good call from Mark Ludwig, the crew chief on that car, owned by Larry Clement. Bob Hill, we're talking about, he's in the upper part of your screen. It just pitted and was our leader. His lap's now 14 to go, and they're going to be chasing these 2 cars right here. Horton in the car 52 and Purvis in the car number 1. The laps are winding down at Talladega. We'll see if Jimmy Horton can hang on and get his 3rd career victory at this racetrack when we come back. Today's Speed World coverage being brought to you by Quaker State, the intelligent oil for longer engine life. and by the clean machine from Coleman Powermate. Laps winding down. It'll be just 11 laps, make it 10 to go next time by for these two drivers. Jimmy Horton in the AC Delco car with Kenny Schrader on Chevrolet, and James Finch's car number 1 being driven by Jeff Purvis.
It looks like that Horton's car is still handling well right on the bottom of the racetrack. As they come off the corner directly towards us.
They have themselves a very good lead over the third-place car.
And we see that last lap they ran even faster than Purvis did in qualifying. 192.7 miles per hour, and Purvis ran 192.5.
That's the effects of the draft. What a difference. We saw some of the Winston Cup cars running laps over 194 in practice early today in the draft, and when Ernie Irvin qualified for that race at a little over 193.2.
Speaking of the Winston Cup cars, I will tell you, let me quickly run down qualifiers for today. I guess you read the qualifiers yesterday, folks. Today it was Terry Labonte, Dave Marcus, Jeff Bodine, Jeremy Mayfield, Rick Mast to the 25th, Hut Strickland, Kyle Petty, Brett Bodine, Jimmy Hensley, Bill Elliott is 30th, Derek Colton, Jeff Purvis, Ricky Rudd, Jeff Burton, Wally Dallenbach, John Andretti, Joe Nemechek, Dick Trickle, Bobby Hamilton, and Jeff Gordon will start 40th. The two provisionals, Bobby Labonte and Kirk Shelmerdine, will make his first Winston Cup event race tomorrow. Bobby Bowser, 4th place car, and it looks like he's gaining on Allen, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He was about 3.5 seconds behind him now, Benny, and he's cut it down under 2 seconds. Don't know if he has enough time to catch Loy or not, but he's working on it.
That's a differential. Loy Allen, the car number 2, the Hooters Ford Thunderbird, left side of your screen. Now coming in the car number 21. Bobby Boucher, and they're chasing the lead cars. These two right here with 9 laps to go as they come through the tribal area. It'll be 8 this time by. Jimmy Horton did not have a ride in Daytona. In fact, he was a spotter for Mike Wallace, as now he gets a little bit of a challenge. Horton now fields it off and holds the front spot.
Well, Bill Venturini just passed Bob Hill for the 5th spot.
Now remember, Venturini took on 4 tires, and they're far behind these two guys who are running first and second. Around Hill.
Well, now Hill goes back bang.
There it is. That's the battle. That is for 6th and 7th. Hill in the red car.
Challenge up front. Purvis trying to look to the inside, and Jimmy Horton's car handling so well. He hugs the bottom of the racetrack. He had about a half a groove, and Purvis thought about sneaking a peek. Couldn't quite get it in there.
Looks like Purvis might have a little more power than Jimmy Horton, but Horton's car, as Jerry said, is handling very, very well.
Laps winding down. Benny, you mentioned the starting lineup for tomorrow's race. You might mention the cars who did not qualify. Richie Petty, Jim Sauter, Rich Bickle did not make the starting lineup. Jimmy Horton, who has a good chance of winning this race today, did not make it in the Hover Motorsports Ford. Neither did Ronnie Sanders, Ward Burton, or Delvin Coward. Those are the cars that did not make the qualifying field for the Winston Select 500 tomorrow. And Horton might have a good Saturday. He's hoping to be able to race both days. Didn't quite get qualified for the Winston Cupper, but he's got a good shot at winning it today if he can hold off the car number 1 of Jeff Purvis.
Oh, we've got a crash. Jerry Glanville, coach, is fun coming off turn 4, and maybe this thing, caution is out. Boy, I knew we got ourselves a race now.
Oh, yeah. We've still got 7 cars in the lead lap, so they'll all get the bunch up.
There's Purvis, but they take the caution flag, and he was trying. There's the pace car trying to pull on. That's what's left of the car number 81 of Jerry Glanville, his first ARCA start. He was back in 21st spot, being shown 4 laps down. Had done a pretty good job today.
He had done a good job. Well, he'd done a good job because we hadn't seen him on screen. If he'd have done something stupid, would have been pointed out all day long.
And you talk about a layoff. We mentioned in front of the show the drivers in this series had not raced since Daytona on February 13th. He had not been in a car to race, actually in a race since last July. He tried to qualify on a Busch car at Hickory, didn't make the field. Here once again is what happened to Coach Jerry Glanville.
Well,
there he is down on the inside. He's
good question.
Out of control. He was running in the front of a pack of cars there. She slid down on the inside into that embankment on the inside of the track.
Ooh, tell you what, some pretty heavy damage to that right rear.
Yeah.
I hope Elvis wasn't riding with him then. You know, he's an Elvis Presley fan.
Ouch. As Coach Glanville scatters a few photographers and some sheet metal down there and took a heck of a lick on that car number 81, a BSR Billy Hess, brand new, it was brand new, we should say, Ford Thunderbird, an Ernie Elliott motor. The crew chief on that car is Steve Barkdahl, and they maintain that car up at Phil Barkdahl's shop. By the way, we want to say hello to Phil Barkdahl, recovering from an illness.
Is anybody going to pit? That's the question. But Venturini, he's not running that well. He's the last car on the lead lap. Maybe he should go ahead and get 4 tires. He chooses not to do that.
As they work to get Jerry Glanville out of the car, now he steps out of the race car, bringing out this caution flag. We'll be back with more from Talladega Superspeedway after this. Back at Talladega Superspeedway, working the 5th caution flag today, moments ago, when the car number 81 of Jerry Glanville, 52-year-old former Atlanta Falcons coach, tagged the wall, and the field now showing 1 lap to go to green. Jimmy Horton, Jeff Purvis, Loy Allen, Bobby Boucher, and Mark Thompson in the top 5. Bob Hill, Bill Venturini, Frank Kimmel, Gary Bradbury, and Peter Gibbons rounding out the top 10 with 8 cars being shown in the lead lap.
Well, Frank Kimmel is actually right beside the leader, Jerry. He's on the tail end. There he is beside the leader, Jimmy Horton. So he is on the tail end of the lead lap. Or actually, he's right now a lap down, but I guess we can qualify him on the tail end of the lead lap.
And there's Bob Breback. He is being shown 2 laps down in 11th position.
You know, I hate to see this. I hate to see these cars double up like this with just a couple of laps to go, because like Venturini, Bob Hill, those guys are starting back. They're 5th or 6th in the lineup, but they actually start 10th or 12th. It just really hurts their progress towards the front.
Well, they'll get the green flag this time. It'll be lap 114, so when they come by for the green, it'll be 3 to go, as there's 4 laps currently to go. It'll be a 3-lap sprint to see if Jimmy Horton, remember he won those 5 in a row back in 1990, including a win here at Talladega, also won here in 1991, has been without a ride, had a chance at a Winston Cup ride, that went away, and what a talented young man, and certainly deserving of an opportunity in Winston Cup, and that's why Kenny Schrader wanted to put him in this car, to let Jimmy Horton showcase his talent on the super speedways, hoping maybe someone will give this young man a chance at a very valuable Winston Cup career.
Ned, is the NASCAR rule, in Daytona they talked about not doubling up with 10 laps to go. Is that still a rule?
Yeah, of course I know. But they're doubling up here in ARCA.
Horton, Purvis, Loy Allen, the car number 2. Behind him, Bobby Boucher coming from a lap down. Then comes Mark Thompson. Great run for Thompson today after that spectacular spill and flip at Daytona. There's Horton's crew, Timmy Kohuth and company. Hoping they can go to victory lane in about 3 laps from now. Coming up to speed, green flag. It'll be a sprint race, lap 115.
Horton got off to a good start.
Boy, Allen and Purvis racing together. If Allen gets alongside, they kiss this race goodbye.
Boy, Horton has jumped in the throttle of that car number 52. Now tries to bring the car down and break the grass. There's a battle back there. Frank Kimmel, the 02, and Bobby Boucher in the car number 21 with Mark Thompson in the 66 right behind him.
And Kimmel is a lap down to these cars. See Bob Hill and Venturini side by side back there. There they are. For the last position on the lead lap. That's for 6th spot. Hill gets it. Meanwhile, back to the lead. Here we go. Purvis on the outside takes the lead as the white flag. No, 2 more laps to go. I thought it was white flag lap. 2 more laps to go.
And Purvis put his foot in that Runt Pittman engine. That's the Morgan McClure Sterling Marlin engine builder. And these guys side by side are going to give Purvis a chance to get away.
Oh!
Allen is...
All those laps, did they do a job, or did I look at them again?
All right, back into our rock back down there. Come up again.
engineering awards in motorsports, but there should be. That young man right there is going to be very thankful. And this probably will come away. Here is the caution flag being waved and the white flag. So caution is white, and this time, as they come by for the win, here comes Boucher, and Purvis will take the caution flag and the white flag, but it's not over, fans. Remember what happened in Bristol, Tennessee, and they're already celebrating down in the Jeff Purvis pit.
It's over. I mean, they get the checkered flag the next time by.
Yeah, but Mark Martin didn't make it all the way back.
We see that once in a lifetime. This baby is over.
Okay, Doyle Ford waving the caution and the white, and Jeff Purvis will take the Delco Remy Chevrolet Lumina to victory lane behind the Pontiac safety car. Great run by Purvis. And what about Bobby Boucher, the car number 21, as Loy Allen climbs out of the Hooters Ford?
Evidently, there was contact between Loy Allen and the 52 car of Jimmy Horton. Let's take a look and see. We see the two car on the outside, Jimmy Horton, and Horton goes up. Did Bowser get the back of the car?
I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to say which one of those cars. Somebody touched him, I think, as he came out there. But look at those flaps. Really do their job. Put the car back down on the ground. Then it's spun around again. Here they come up again.
I tell you, what a job. You got to give a call to the NASCAR people who, look, there's a dent in the back of the car. Looks like he got a little bit of maybe some sheet metal damage before he even hit the wall. But those flaps up on that car kept that car on the ground. It started to lift. The flaps put it back on the ground. They're stall flaps to stall the air coming across the top of the car so it'll stay on the ground. That's indeed what it did. And fortunately, Loy Allen able to walk away. But this car right here will be headed to victory lane. The Delco Remy X1R friction-proofing Chevrolet. Jeff Purvis, and they're standing on pit road. Mark Reno, congratulations. Mark Reno, the crew chief down there. For Jeff Purvis, and what a job they have done.
Now they go up beside of him and congratulate Jeff Purvis on winning the race there. Mark Thompson does. That's what they did to Mark Martin in Bristol, but they did it on the white flag lap rather than the checkered flag lap.
I tell you, and somewhat of a victory for Mark Thompson, who finishes in third today after that spectacular spill at Daytona. Here again's what happened.
Well, this is from a camera on top of the roof, and we really can't see what initiated the contact between Loy Allen and Jimmy Horton.
Yeah, I think Horton is the car that maybe made contact with Allen's car.
Different angle once again. We'll show you with 2 laps to go, coming at you out of turn 2.
The cars are just so far apart, and all of a sudden they just go together. I can't tell if Loy Allen came down the racetrack or Horton went up. Hard to say exactly what happened. I don't know.
Hard to say, but got to believe. You talk about a testimonial for those flaps. I said, I don't know if there's an engineering award for motorsports, but it should go to whoever developed those flaps, as certainly they have done their job repeatedly in Daytona. And as Ned, you mentioned, it came out in a bulletin this week that those flaps will be required on every car in NASCAR racing on tracks of a mile or longer.
That's starting in August.
We'll be back to talk to our winner here of the Food World 500 as they head to victory lane. We'll talk with Jeff Purvis in just a moment. Back at Talladega, Alabama, getting a nice cold drink. It is a warm afternoon here at Talladega. We told you there were some thunderstorms in the area. They have not materialized. Beautiful skies here, temperatures over 80 degrees. And Jeff Purvis takes the victory, the 12th annual Food World 500. He will get the lion's share of $172,345 purse in that James Finch-owned Chevrolet.
Be sure to put our Hoosier necklace on just right, and Purvis climbs out.
Our split fire winner circle interview coming up right now. Let's go down to John Kernan. John?
Well, let's see. You got the little neck thing here. You got the right hat on there. Congratulations on a fine victory.
Thanks, man. That was a rough one right there, wasn't it? We were bad. It must be a day for dirt track racers. I saw Kinzer won that one earlier, and then we won this one today, and Horton's up there running pretty good. So, the dirt track fans ought to be happy right now.
Talk about the move, the winning move that you made, the winning move.
I was having trouble getting anybody to go with me. I was, you know, we battled there a little bit earlier, and I don't think the 2-car wanted to go with me, and I just had to fall back and get a run in Horton and try to draft on by him.
Now, you're in the race for tomorrow. How much does this help you?
Well, that's got to help a lot. I mean, we found out what the tires like, what the chassis likes, and, you know, there's a lot of things that's got to help right here, but, you know, this Delco Remy Chevrolet just really came through. I mean, they built this car in about a week and a half, and it stayed together. I mean, that says a lot for the Phoenix Racing crew.
You've won Daytona, but I don't think you've won here at Talladega. How big a win is this?
Oh, this is a big one. I mean, we really wanted to come here and run good. We want to run good tomorrow also, but, you know, Delco Remy's sitting there, and they're sponsoring us for 6 races, and, you know, we try to run good for them, and we just wanted a good outing and wanted to come home a winner.
You know, guys, he looks really calm, but take my word for it, he's very, very happy, Jerry.
Boy, indeed he is, and he should be. What a great run today, and he gets a little bit of a mini Gatorade shower from down in Victory Lane. Now, here's what happened. 2 laps to go, Benny and Ned. See if you can figure out what exactly went on.
Of course, this is from the blimp. This is Horton down on the inside, and Loy Allen up on the outside as they come off of turn 2 and head down the backstretch. Now, Allen gets on up, gets momentum going, gets out in front of Horton, and here comes Bowser. That's the 3rd car back there in that particular picture. Maybe Allen comes down a little bit, but Horton's car, maybe he might have been trying to get in line out there to try to pick the draft back up of Purvis, who was pulling away at that time, and they just made contact, and around he went.
It looked like that Loy Allen maybe came down about a foot, and the 52 car of Horton went up a foot, and that's all it took.
And here's the low angle once again, looking right at it as they come out of turn 2, headed down the backstretch.
We're trying to follow that white line as they come down the lines, and all of a sudden it looks like that Loy does come down a little bit, and Horton maybe went up a little bit. Hey, they just made contact, and it really is amazing to see those flaps come up. Jack Roush, I think, was the guy who perfected those flaps, and Jack, a job well done.
Indeed, Jack, the engineer, and a job well done by our proof positive MCI blimp from high above, giving us those great aerial shots today over this massive 2,000-acre facility here in Central Alabama, Talladega Superspeedway. What a great racetrack. We'll have plenty of racing action to come your way tomorrow, and there are those flaps still up after working and doing their job to keep that car on the ground. We'll come back to Talladega Superspeedway and talk more about ARCA and upcoming Winston Cup after this. Stay with us. Back at Talladega Superspeedway, the Food World 500 is history. Victory Lane continues. We might mention those of you tuning in to watch Speed Week that was going to be on earlier today. This race, this live racing action came to you to try to beat some of the weather here at Talladega. And Speed Week will be on at midnight Pacific, but 3 a.m. Eastern time. So this morning you can tune in at 3 a.m. Eastern and catch Bob Jenkins and all the fine folks on Speed Week, which will be on at midnight on Pacific time. Now, let's check in once again down in the pit area with John Kernan.
Jerry, I'm with a very happy Bobby Bowser. You guys lost a lap early, made it up, and finished second. What a great job.
Can you believe it? I'm pretty happy. I mean, we almost come away with the win, but, you know, give the Quality Farm Fleet Ford Thunderbird a heck of a ride today. I'll tell you, I run my butt off. I ain't kidding you. These races are hard on the brain now, I'm telling you. But, you know, I thought we had a good chance to win the race. You know, we come from a lap down. You know, same thing at Daytona. Man, we was close, I tell you. But that deal on the backstretch, you know, Horton just didn't give enough room for me or Loy Allen to get in, but that's what happened to Loy Allen. But, man, I'm pretty happy with second place considering, you know, how we qualified, and I made a mistake on my part, but you know, we're second place. I'm pretty happy.
You know, you guys came down here with 4 cars because you're not even going back home. You're going directly from here to Pensacola. This has got to make that trip a little bit better, huh?
You ain't kidding, I tell you. Especially being away from home, you know, being away from family, it's tough. But I just like to say hi to everybody at home. I'm thinking of you, and hi, Brittany.
All right, congratulations on a fine finish, Bobby. Jerry?
Nickname in the car after his 3.5-year-old daughter, Brittany, did indeed change his luck as he finishes second today behind Purvis with Mark Thompson, Jimmy Horton, and Bill Venturini rounding out the top 5. 6 through 10, Bob Hill, Frank Kimmel, Gary Bradbury had that lap penalty, Loy Allen in 9th position, and Bob Breback finishes 10th.
And 11 through 15, Peter Gibbons, Mark Stahl, Harris Devane, Bobby Gearhart, Craig Rubright, finishing in 15th place. 16th through 20th, Wayne Larson, Jave Jensen, Michael Dawkin, and Bob Williams, Jerry Hill.
21st position, Laura Lane, Lois Lane, Tom Lawrence, 22nd, Bob Strait, Kenny Wallace, not Henry, Kenny Wallace, and Alan Pruitt. And 26-230, Rob Smith, Gary Weinbrower, Danny Kelly, Jerry Glanville, the coach, 29th, Glenn Brewer back in 30th.
And 31st, John Wilkinson, a young man out of Hueytown, Alabama. Roger Blackstock driving Charlie Newby's number 77 here. Jeff McClure, the 89. L.W. Miller and Ken Allen out of Shelby, North Carolina, finishes 35th. 36, last year's winner, Tim Steele, Bob Shack, Dick Trickle, who led the first lap, Joel White, and former series champion Bob Keselowski. Back in 41st was Kerry Teague, and Bobby Coyle had engine troubles and will get 42nd position. Our current ARCA SuperCar Series point standings, we have a tie atop the leaderboard. Bobby Boucher and Bob Hill are tied for first. Our winner, Jeff Purvis, back in third spot. Former two-time series champion Bill Venturini and now Savannah, Georgia resident Mark Stahl are tied for fourth spot. Lots of racing action to come your way tomorrow, live right here, flag-to-flag coverage from Talladega, Alabama, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and those two guys will go at it. You see on the bottom of your screen, front row, Ernie Irvin in the Texaco Haviland Ford. Coming up next, Seniors PGA from Las Vegas, the Senior Classic, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 1:30 p.m. Pacific. Great golf coming your way next on ESPN.
And by the way, Jerry, that was Henry Wallace, not Kenny. It was Henry Wallace.
Henry Wallace in the car, number 91. There is Jeff Purvis in victory lane. Once again, for Kyle Petty, John Kernan, Ned Jarrett, Benny Parsons, I'm Jerry Punch. Once again, congratulating the Delco Remy driver, Jeff Purvis, on his first ever victory at Talladega Superspeedway. So long, everybody.